No? There we are. Hey, we got there. All right. I am here, as has been shared, to share about our Mexico trip to Morelia. We were there 2 weeks ago. And so with that, this morning's going to feel a little bit different than normal. It feels weird to me. I'm not used to coming up and giving, I don't know, it's not a book report, but a report in front of the service. And I do feel this tension. This is still Sunday morning. This is still a worship service. And so I want us to be worshiping God. And so before we jump into Morelia report, wait, is this thing on? Maybe I need your help. Huh? Ted's, it's on. It is on. How are you doing? Good. Me too. Yes. Oh, did I do that? You did that? Okay. But first, the Bible. All right. And so I have this picture here. Can anybody guess why I have this picture here? It's from our trip. I'll give you a piece of candy later. I'm not throwing it out now. It should be obvious. No. Happiness is fine, but no. Who's in this picture? Ruth. We're going to talk about Ruth a little bit. It's my favorite book in the whole Bible. And so because we're taking a break from Mark, and I have sort of carte blanche to say what I want, I do have to talk about the Mexico trip a bit. I want to talk about Ruth just a little bit. And I think it does tie in well to our whole mission trip experience. The book of Ruth, as I've mentioned, is my favorite book in the Bible. I think there's a few reasons for that. One is it's short. It's easy to get through. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Another one is that it has deep theology for how short it is. On the surface, it's just this little narrative, little love story, which is great. But there's some deep stuff in there. And it's relatively easy to get to the deep theology. So it's not too hidden, not too complicated. Highly recommend reading Ruth. It's not just for the girls. It's for everyone. So I'm going to recap real quickly the story of the book of Ruth. So maybe we could do this together. Does anybody know geographically where Ruth and her husband Elimelech are living at the beginning of the book? No? My students should know, huh? Not Susa? No, not Moab, not at the beginning. At the beginning, they're in a place called Bethlehem. Can anybody tell me what the word Bethlehem means? House of bread. Who said it? My wife did. I love my wife so much. And because of that, I love her more than any of the rest of you. So they're in Bethlehem, the house of bread. And there's a famine in the land. And so if there's a famine in the land, should you leave the house of bread? Probably doesn't make a ton of sense, but they do it. Elimelech takes his family, moves them over. They have a couple sons, Mahlon and Chilion, moves them over to Moab, and pretty much immediately Elimelech dies. So we get this pretty immediate judgment. It doesn't say God killed him or anything, but he dies there immediately. The sons take wives, Ruth and Orpah, and then the sons die. And that is what happens in Moab. And so we have these three widows living in Moab, and then Naomi hears that back over in Bethlehem, God is working and there's food there again. So she says, I'm going to move back to Bethlehem. You guys should stay here. I don't have any husbands for you, anything like that. So you guys should stay in Moab with your families. I'm going to move back. And Orpah does stay in Moab, but Ruth says, no, your people are going to be my people. Your God is going to be my God. I'm going with you. And so Ruth travels with Naomi back to Bethlehem. And when they get there, Ruth starts working. She starts working in a field for a guy named Boaz, and Boaz is the man. Boaz has all this land, and I say he's the man, and he is the man. I want to stand by that. But he's just following the law. He's just following the law that God gave for him to follow. So if you know the book of Leviticus, you know the Torah, he's doing what he's supposed to do, and it's standing out compared to his peers, which we also expect to happen. So he's taking care of the foreigner and the widow and the people in his land who need help. He's doing that. And he takes notice of this Moabite woman named Ruth. And Ruth takes notice of him. And I'll skip ahead a little bit. They kind of fall in love. There's a courting thing, at least, that happens. And it turns out he's obligated to marry Ruth because of a Levitical thing. If you want to talk about that with me later, I'm happy to. I love talking about the Old Testament. But there's some drama in that there's a closer kinsman redeemer. There's a closer family member who's meant to marry Ruth. And so Boaz goes to him. He says, hey, Naomi's back. You're next in line to receive all of their land and stuff. Do you want all of their land and stuff? And the guy's like, yes, I want all of their land and all of their stuff. And Boaz is like, all right, along with that, you do have to marry this woman, Ruth, who's a Moabitess. And he says, never mind, I don't want all their land and stuff. And so he has to take off his sandal, which is this ritual thing. He's basically cursed for rejecting her. And then Boaz gets to marry her, and we're all happy, and things are good. And then they have a kid at the very end of the book. And does anybody feel like I missed any big parts? I'm doing this. This is the Nathan Meeker paraphrased version. No, we're doing okay? I did teach a class on this at Multnomah a little bit, so I've done it a couple times. But my question now is, what does God do in the book of Ruth? He redeems. When you're reading the story of the book of Ruth, what actions does God take? Silence is a good answer, because the answer is not much. The answer is it doesn't seem on the surface that he's doing very much. And another reason that I like this book so much is that that's often how I feel my life is. I love the Old Testament. I am in the book of Exodus right now, and God is sending plagues and miracles and meeting people in bushes, spreading waters into walls, leading them with pillars of fire and pillars of cloud, and that's awesome, and I love that, but I can't really relate to that so much in my own life. I've not experienced any of those things in my walk with Jesus Christ. But I can relate a little bit more to Ruth's story. It's a story of people making bad decisions, bad things happening because of those decisions, but also people trying to live faithfully and trusting God and the results of those things happening. And so on the surface level, there's not many actions that God's doing in this book, but if we read it theologically and just listen to it, there's enough of these moments that are it just so happened that X happened, and it just so happened that Y happened, that leads to this place where it's clear that, yes, God is the one redeeming them. And as much as said so by the women at the end of the book, I have these printed because I knew I couldn't read this. The women said to Naomi, "Praise be to Yahweh, who this day has not left you without a guardian redeemer. May he become famous throughout Israel. He will renew your life and sustain you in your old age. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you and who is better to you than 7 sons, has given him birth." Now, we won't get into the deep theology of that, but the women in this book are affirming that God is the one who has done this thing. God has given you this daughter-in-law. God has helped her to be faithful. God has made you visible in Boaz's sight. God has given you a child who will be your redeemer. And it's this beautiful, beautiful thing, and I can relate to that. I don't get oracles from heaven saying, hey, this is the mission trip to go do so often. But I can relate to trying to live faithfully and then seeing the fruit that produces in my life. And so that is the background for what I want to say about our Mexico trip right now. So I want to start us off with how did we get here. This might feel like an old skipping record a little bit because I feel like I've been up here saying this maybe 5 times now, but I'm going to do it one more time. Jerry was here 2 weeks ago. I just finally listened to his message, but this whole process started last summer with a conversation with the elders about wanting to go on a short-term mission trip, wanting to start short-term missions up here at Westside. And I reached out to some people, and the first one that gained traction was Jerry Maddox, and going to Turkey to help build tiny houses in Turkey. I have a picture. Yeah, there's Turkey with the Turkish flag. And so we were planning this. Progress was being made, and then Jerry reaches out to me and says, hey, the guy who's been running this program died suddenly, not super old, and so I don't think that we're going to be able to continue this house building program in Turkey anymore. And this is one of those moments that maybe feels a little bit more like a clear closed door from God, which I don't get often, but this felt like that. So Turkey didn't really happen. So we tried to pivot sort of last minute, to the Indigenous Bible College and getting a team to go there, but that didn't really get any traction. And so we didn't go on any trips last year, but we put out the word to the church body that we were still looking. We were looking for partners with whom to partner to do a short-term mission trip. And Noe came up because of Jim Paris. And Jim just happened to be roommates. Is this roommates? Yeah, roommates with one of the founders of Noe International. And because of that friendship, probably only 5 years ago, I'm guessing, because of that friendship, 5 years later, we hear about Noe International. I reach out to Juan Peralta. He's their executive director. He starts talking to me. Things seem like they're working good, and we keep making progress on this trip. And so, again, maybe it doesn't seem on the surface like this is a God thing, but there's so many it just so happened moments along the path of this that makes me really feel like this was from God. And the fruit of it, I would also say, makes me feel like this was from God. If we had all those moments and then everything went terrible, maybe I'd question a bit more, but things went well. That's my initial report. And so we went to Noe. It wasn't without some speed bumps along the way. A guy named El Mencho died. That's a cartel leader, and that caused some violence in the country, if you don't remember that from a few months ago. Some oil prices and things changed. So we had some little road bumps, but nothing set us so far off course. And so we continued, and we went on this trip to Morelia, and it was a ton of fun. But one more thing I want to bring up before I get into the actual report of this, is that we took a team of 11 of us down to Morelia, Mexico. But really, this was a church effort, and also to people outside of the church. And so I just want to highlight 3 verses from Philippians real quick. And I want to make it clear that I'm not equating what we've done to Paul's missionary work in Philippi or Thessalonica or the other places that he's going to. It's not the same thing, but there's some principles that I think we can draw from this. So I have 3 verses. The first, and there's some nice pictures of Morelia for you to look at while I read. So the first one is Philippians 1, 3 through 6. It says, I thank my God every time I remember you in all my prayers for all of you. I always pray with joy because of your partnership in the gospel from the first day until now, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Then I have Philippians 1, 18 through 19. Yes, and I will continue to rejoice, for I know that through your prayers and God's provision of the Spirit of Jesus Christ, what has happened to me will turn out for my deliverance. And then finally, Philippians 4, 18 and 19. I have received full payment and have more than enough. I am amply supplied now that I have received from Epaphroditus the gift you sent. They are a fragrant offering, an acceptable sacrifice pleasing to God. And my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of his glory in Christ Jesus. Now, the reason I bring this up is because even though only 11 of us went on this trip, I know many of you gave to this trip. You gave gifts to make this thing happen. And I think it's fair to say that that's a fragrant offering to the Lord, that your gifts to advance the kingdom of God is loved by him, and that also I know many of you were praying for us on this trip. And your prayers are actually effective and are actually legitimate participation in this short-term mission work. It's not just a little thing tacked onto the side, but it's essential to do effective missions for us and for Paul and for every missionary everywhere in the world. So just an encouragement. Thank you guys so much for that. And let's keep praying for our missionaries who are there long-term as well. All right, so with that, into the actual report. What did we do in Mexico? And this is my first slide. The first thing we did when we got to Mexico was we went to church. And this is the Father's Day service, so that's all the dads up there. I don't think that kid's a dad, but it's mostly dads up there being celebrated for Father's Day. And I don't know if you've had the opportunity to worship the Lord in a service where you don't speak the language, but it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And those verses from Revelation that talk about every tribe and every tongue worshiping our God just come more to life anytime that I'm in a service where it's clearly not catered to me, so much more. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And it also just set the foundation for the rest of the week. There are some students there. This church is ran by Juan, the executive director. There were some students there. One student in particular, his name's Dylan, who, my goodness, good at English. I think that if he was in English classes in the United States, he'd ace them all. Just very, very good. But they were so welcoming to us immediately. There was no awkward boundary, awkward cliques of we're the American crew over here, and we're the Mexican students over here, and we'll figure out how to do this throughout the course of the week, and then on the 6th day we'll finally become friends. It was immediate. They came and interacted and were kind and hospitable and welcoming, and it was just a beautiful way to set off the week. And then from this, we went out to a place called Santa Clara del Cobre. Cobre? Is that? Yeah, Cobre, I did okay. Yes, I should look at Gregorio, not at Cole. Sorry. But so it's a city about copper. That's like their main commodity. And tons of students just came out with us. And again, it was just a fun, easy way to start the day before we actually started into some quote-unquote work is what I'll say. And this is a picture of our quote-unquote work. And I say quote-unquote work. It was work. We did work. We did mostly painting. I think these are all painting and patching pictures that I have. I couldn't find a picture of Cole or Craig working, but I'm sure they did. But no, they did. But this is our painting and patching work that we did. And I, as we were preparing for this trip, I said to the team, I don't know if I set it up here at all, but it was a challenge to me for this to not be a project-based missions trip. I'm used to the trips that I go on that have almost exclusively, not exclusively, but almost exclusively been house-building trips, where at the beginning of the trip, there's flat ground, maybe a foundation, usually not, and at the end of the trip, there's moderately constructed little house for somebody to live in, and then I get to pat myself on the back and feel good about myself. And I don't think that's bad. The people I've spoken to who have long-term been in those areas and received those homes don't think that's bad. So I'm not trying to dog on that, but this was not that. These were not projects that at the end of it, at least I felt like, look at this thing that I did and accomplished. I am on this ladder here. I was working in this little bathroom in the basement, scraping paint for one day and then smoothing out the scraped paint and then putting on primer and then waiting for primer to set. And my project was not finished at the end of the week. And I think most of the projects were not finished at the end of the week. We'd get a coat of paint on and then you have to wait. And they have other things for us to do. And then the next day we get another coat of paint on, and then you have to wait. And there's other things for us to do. And so there was no checkbox for me to check off. And I think that was very good for me. Because this is not about us. This was not about our team. This was not about us checking off boxes and feeling good about ourselves. We came and we participated and we joined in with a ministry that's been going for 30 years that has people who will continue these projects. There'll be other short-term people who come and continue these projects. There's a guy named Jorge who also coaches basketball who's going to be going and helping complete these projects, and they will get done. But it doesn't need me to get it done. And that's good. And I think it's so much more valuable to me to know that I'm part of an ongoing ministry than to feel good about myself for 1 week. So that's that one. Another thing, this is just another project that did get done. I didn't participate in this. I couldn't drag this one down. But this is a basement area. This is just the after. I couldn't find a before picture. It was filled with junk, mostly construction materials from other spaces and stuff. And this is it, very well cleaned. It's been swept, I think, probably a dozen times at this point. They had to get an angle grinder to cut that tire in half that they didn't have yet. But this space is going to be turned into a beauty school, essentially. So like salon, learn to do nails and hair and those sorts of things for women in the community to come and learn and be able to start businesses for themselves. Mostly, I think, moms of students in the program being able to come and make a living this way. And again, we cleaned it out, and the crew who did that did a phenomenal job, but there's not a beauty school here yet. This is part of an ongoing ministry effort that's going to be ongoing. They feel confident it'll be done by the fall, and I trust them, but other people are going to have to do this. A similar project was done on the roof, where people cleared it out and got it ready for more work, but we were participating in ongoing things in Mexico, which was cool. Next. Classes. This is not a class we were in. This is a generic picture I took off of their website, but we did get a join in classroom conversations. This is what I thought the bulk of our trip would be. It is not what the bulk of our trip ended up being, and that's okay. We tried being very open-handed with the schedule, and I think we did fairly well of being open-handed with the schedule, but the classes we went into were great. The teachers were great. The teachers largely have come up through Noe, through their education program. I think 80% of their staff are all former students, which is just a testament to their ministry. And just when we came in, just welcoming, inviting us in, it was an encouragement to the students, I believe, an encouragement to the staff, I believe. And then also, part of the more classroom environment is that some of us proctored exams for students, English exams, and that was the least fun part of the trip, for me at least, except for maybe a little bit of tummy issues on the way home. But proctoring exams was probably second. And so basically we sat in a room with students who were in the advanced English program and asked them a few questions, tried to carry a conversation with them, and then gave them a grade at the end of it based on how they spoke in English. And I think Cole and I were quite a bit too harsh at the beginning of our grading. Dylan, the one who's phenomenal at English, I think skewed our curve a little bit. So we had to adjust a little bit down the road. But it was good. It was a good thing, and I'll talk a little bit more about those exams at the end. Also, we shared a little bit. So I had an opportunity to share at a youth group. Cole had an opportunity to share at a youth group. And we both just sort of shared parts of our testimony. Cole did a great job. And we just had the opportunity to come participate in youth groups, join in with games and play. We also did a kids community outreach thing, which I'll talk about again later in my wrap-up section. But we had the opportunity to share the gospel with students in this way. Next. Okay, this is a graduation program for an elementary school out in rural Morelia, a place called, the name is escaping me right now. Del Monte, yes, thank you, Cole. Del Monte, and it was just another opportunity. So Noe is not an insular institution where it does its own thing, but is deeply involved in the community that it's in. And so the director of Del Monte, he shows up to this school, and the students flock him because they know him and they love him. And we came and we basically just cleaned trash out of the courtyard area and got it nice and looking good, and we washed benches and stuff like that for their, I think it was 6th to 7th grade, or it might have been 5th to 6th grade celebration, but elementary school to middle school celebration graduation, and the whole town turns out for this elementary school celebration. I don't know, maybe I cut it out. They had Shenron, who's the dragon from Dragon Ball Z, if you're an anime fan in here. But they had like a giant thing of him parading around in the streets. And it was just this big party for all these little kids, and just exciting and just cool how the community turned out for this thing. And we just got to participate in that as well. And then finally, this is my last one, but this is basketball. I don't know if you're familiar with basketball. I played more basketball 2 weeks ago than I have probably in the last decade. And these are all pictures of our team playing basketball, but many of us, myself included, got dragged into a number of pickup basketball games. I don't play basketball, but I'm 6'1", and Americans, so they said, hey, you should come play basketball with us. So I did come play basketball, and I did hold my own, don't worry. But yeah, I played a lot of basketball, and that was good. There was a kid named Jesus who brought me into a bunch of these basketball games, and that's going to transition me to my next thing, what we really did. Because those things are things that we did, but I don't think they're the things that matter so much. The painting, great. The people in Mexico can paint just fine without us, maybe better than some of us, me. But what we really did was the relational stuff. And basketball, for me, was a clear entrance into the relational stuff. So I met this kid, Jesus, who brought me into these basketball games. And then in the middle of the week, we went to a big party to watch the Mexico World Cup game. And Jesus was there. And he had me come sit by him. And over the course of that night, he shared with me about his father dying when he was a baby, shared with me about inappropriate behavior with his girlfriend. And I was able to have really good, deep conversations with him about those things. And I know I'm not the only one on the team who had those sorts of conversations and those sorts of connections with people on this trip. I'm only going to share my own. This is my initial encouragement to go find the other 10 people who were on this trip. If you need a list of names, you can find me and I'll share them with you. But ask them about the trip as well. This is only my experience. So yeah, I'll just share about mine. But the main valuable thing that we did on this mission trip was relationships. And I believe that firmly, and I can't quantify it as nicely as I can, houses that were built or solar panels that were installed or anything like that. But it was a beautiful, beautiful thing, and what I'm most looking forward to as well. So we also have this. Does anybody know what this is a picture of? No, it's a picture of Gregorio's hand. It's also a scorpion. But yeah, Craig saw this scorpion scurrying across our room, and Gregorio just walks over and pinches it by the tail and picks it up. And I said if anybody on the team except for Gregorio had done that, I'd say don't do that. But I trusted him, and he just did it. And so he had this scorpion. But the scorpion doesn't matter. It was just kind of funny. But this is just to bring up Gregorio, to give him a shout out. I'm not going to say there was an MVP of the trip. That seems inappropriate. But if there was, I might say Gregorio. And I say this just because everywhere we went, Gregorio was sharing the gospel with everyone. And it was so inspirational to me. And I have the cop-out of I don't speak Spanish. I can't do this as well. And I did share some at times. But I am not motivated to share the gospel as much as Gregorio is motivated to share the gospel. I won't stay on it too long. But it was beautiful. We had this time, I said before, we went to an elementary school program called Exploradores, and he said, hey, I'm going to skip this and stay in this adult class because I need to be here and share the gospel. So he's sharing the gospel. There was this guy coming out of Catholicism at another youth group, and he invited him in and got him food and talked with him and shared the gospel with him. There was another guy he shared the gospel with. I think I sent it in an email update that he's on our way home was like, hey, we asked the church to pray for this guy. He just reached out to me because he wants to follow Jesus and he wants our prayer. And so that's just what he did. So we were all there building relationships with all sorts of people. And then Gregorio was out there sharing the gospel with all sorts of people. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing for me to see. And so I'll continue with what I learned. What did I learn on this trip? In this picture, I'll say this. I'll say none of it I don't think is new to me. But I had lots of affirmations of things that we believe in as a church that were done very, very well by the people in Mexico. And this picture is a couple of them. The first one is intergenerational ministry and just intergenerational life. Here we have Jolynn and Janelyn. Do I have any other? And Emily and Elena. But there we have grandma and grandkids all doing ministry together, and that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I think Ruth and I were the only ones without family on the trip. That's okay. We're family. We're brothers and sisters in Christ, but it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And we saw this on our team, but we also saw this among the people that we were serving with. Brandon, I think I've had a picture. I'm going to lose it. Brandon, one of the guys in Mexico, if you care to know what he looks like, you can talk to me later. But he's the leader of the the Primero Center of Noe. And that's where we were doing most of our painting and work like that. And every day for lunch, his parents would show up and cook us lunch. And so his family's involved with his ministry. Also, this is downtown Morelia, and there are kids. Everywhere we went, for the most part. Kids were invited to come along. And as we got in the van rides, Juan would be like, hey, all the Americans are sitting by windows so that Mexican kids can sit in the aisles next to you and have conversations. So there was no clumping allowed, which was a great intentional thing that they did. But just also this idea of just inviting people along. It'd be very easy, probably quite a bit easier, for Juan to just take us to these places and not have to worry about teenagers and coordinating all that. I have some experience with that. But it's better to invite them along, right? It is just better for relationships. It's better for their growth, and it's better for our growth to actually spend this time together. And so they did that very intentionally. So just a commitment to discipleship and relational discipleship and intergenerational ministry was such a beautiful, beautiful thing to see and a beautiful, beautiful thing to experience. All right, the next one I have is this. That's me, that's Craig, and these are some Mexican students. I think that's Dylan, I'm not sure. He's a cool guy. But this is at the Exploradores program that I've talked about a couple of times, an elementary school program. And the thing that stood out to me about this, again, it's a thing that we also hold up, is that this was ran by students. It wasn't ran by an adult, and then students came along and helped out as like the helper people, but it was ran by the students, like front to back. We were superfluous additions that were probably in the more in the way than anything, but they ran it, and they ran it well. They did a very, very good job of running this thing. And so just an affirmation that the young people among us, maybe not Adelaide, but a little older than that, are actually capable of ministry. And not just like pretend ministry, we're training them to one day actually be ready for ministry, but capable of doing the actual ministry. And they did well. And it's just an affirmation. We've seen this here as well. Elena and Emily, I think, have led Kids Connect. That's right? And so we do this also, but just an encouragement to double down into that, to train our young people for actual ministry, which they do, but it's good, and there's fruit from it. They see it, and we see it, so let's keep doing it. Amen. All right, my next one is this. This is Loma Libre. This is the center that we stayed at each night. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. And we got there, and there's a place in Mexico called Oxxo, which is just a glorified it's Mexican plaid pantry, essentially. They have convenience store food, but it's nostalgic and romanticized for me because I grew up going there in my high school trips and walking down and getting to Oxxo. And so when we got to Mexico, when we got to Loma Libre, I said, hey, when we get back in the evenings, is it okay for us to walk to the Oxxo? It's about a third of a mile away from where we're staying. Mostly a safety thing, right? Like, do I need to stay, because this is locked up, it's gated, do we need to stay in here when we're not with you? And they're like, oh no, it's totally safe. Like, you can totally just walk there. Don't worry about it at all. And I trusted them, and I did walk there. But throughout the week, Hugo, the person who directs Loma Libre, he's like, yeah, when we moved into this neighborhood, it wasn't like this. When we moved into this neighborhood, it wasn't a safe neighborhood. And sort of through our influence here, it has become a safe neighborhood. We've become sort of a bastion for the community around us. Initially, people didn't like us. There's large populations of Catholic people who don't like Protestants around. The government is not super pro-church a lot of the time. But they were faithful. The government actually gave them this plot of land because of the positive ministry that they'd seen in other places in Morelia. This is a second or third site that they had. And over time, the area became more and more safe because of their influence, because of education, probably because of God, I would say. And so this was just an encouragement to me that I see this in another country and I say, that's awesome. God can do amazing things. What a beautiful, beautiful thing. But I think it's easy for me to forget that he's capable of doing that here also. People gripe about home a lot and say, we're just going to wash our hands of it. The Lord come back and destroy all these people that I don't like. And that is not the way that we should live our lives. We can have actual influence on our community outside of voting for the right people, but by being involved in our communities and dedicated to involvement in our communities and truly shining God's light into our community. So I just want to read this verse real quick from Jeremiah 29, 4 through 7, before the famous one. It says, "This is what Yahweh Almighty, the God of Israel, says to all those I carried into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. Build houses and settle down, plant gardens and eat what they produce, marry and have sons and daughters, find wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage so that they too may have sons and daughters. Increase in number there, do not decrease. Also seek the peace and prosperity of the city to which I have carried you into exile. Pray to Yahweh for it, because if it prospers, you too will prosper." Now, this is Old Testament stuff, but I think that the sentiment still stands. We are in a city. This is not maybe our eternal habitation. We long for a better country, right? But this is the city that we are in now. So we should seek its prosperity. We should seek its good. We should plant gardens, settle down, make families, those sorts of things. We are a hopeful people, not a people who shrink back into our little compound and wait for Jesus to come back. We spread Jesus' love to the community around us, and it can actually change stuff. It can actually make an actual difference that has a lasting impact now and a lasting impact into eternity. So it's just an encouragement to me to do that here, not just to trust that it happens overseas. And so I'm going to close with what's next. Next steps for this trip. Now, this may be a little bit out of turn because I haven't spoken to the elders about any of these things. So if they want to say nope at any point in this, they're welcome to. But this is my what's next. This is first what I want to talk about. You can't see him maybe very well, but this guy right here, his name is Romel, and him and I got fairly close fairly quickly. I like Romel a lot. I liked everybody that I met in Mexico a lot. I think that's true. I just want to make sure it's true. There's nobody I didn't like in Mexico, I'll say that. Juan Peralta, the man I've interacted with the most, is the director of Noe. And so being the director of an organization that relies heavily on funding from churches and tries to get teams to come out, I feel like has maybe a little bit more of that salesman in him. And that's not bad. I think that those are all good things. I'm not trying to disparage salesmen, Cole. I feel like I'm unnecessarily targeting. I've become too comfortable with you, Cole. Too comfortable. But there's just this thought in my head of like, oh, we could actually like be pretty bad, and he'd probably just stomach it to keep this partnership going or to potentially develop a partnership. Does that follow? Yeah, a little bit. It's maybe my jadedness. I don't think that's true, by the way. I think that they genuinely enjoyed us and we genuinely enjoyed them. But Romel, I don't think has that same inclination at all. He's just sort of a more quiet guy. And awesome. And towards the end of our trip, he was just communicating to us that he doesn't typically feel open to sharing his life story or relationally close to groups that come through as he has with us. The group that we were with in Loma Libre, Romel, Cesar, Hugo, Miriam, Beto, am I missing someone? Did I get them all? They would come, they would prepare breakfast for us. We'd try and get them to come eat with us, which they did some of the time. And it was just good. We just got along super, super well. And so I just want to say that from a non-consumer perspective, but actual relationship, and I'm friends is not the right word. I have him as a contact on WhatsApp now, and we can chat. But like actual relationship happened beyond just you're a church and we're a missions organization and let's see if this partnership works out, to like we're actually friends and we actually get along and I actually want to see these people again and spend time with them, which is cool. It's a cool thing, and it hasn't happened on every trip that I've been on for sure. There's some where it's you go, you do the thing, you come back. And it was cool. It was a good week. But this is, I actually want to spend time with these people, and I care about them. You recognize this. This is local. This is Multnomah Falls. And the reason I bring this up is that in a week or two, a thing called the Dream Team, which is I'll say the elite English speakers of Noe International, those who have taken the test that we administered and done well on it, they go through a year of serving Noe after they graduate and pass this exam, and there's only a certain number of slots. I think they ended up with 11 this year, so 11 students could be on the Dream Team for next year. This upcoming summer, only 4 because of visa issues, but they're going to be coming here to Portland, because that's where their connection is mostly, and they'll stay with host families here in Portland. And as part of that, I am going to be organizing some sort of activity with those 4 students who are here, and the team members will be invited to that as well. We might not want to overwhelm them with our whole church yet, the four Mexican students, but there is ongoing stuff in the works and the plan for that. Here is this. This is Christmas time in Morelia. They do up a big festival. I looked at their light display. It's pretty awesome. But I was speaking with Juan about potential future trips and what that could look like. And he's like, yeah, summer times are good. We do a bazaar. Bazaar is not the word I'm looking for, but it's the right idea. Every Christmas as a fundraiser, we could use a team to come and help out with this Christmas fundraiser would be a good thing. And so this is just a thought of a potential more regular rhythm of filling a niche that is actually needed and being able to go and maintain these relationships on a more long-term basis. I think that if Westside doesn't go formally as a church again, that people on the team will probably go again of their own accord. It was a good time, and if you didn't make it last time and would like to go, it was good. I highly recommend it. But yeah, this is just another opportunity for us to go. And finally, this is Dylan, the kid I've been talking about a few times. It's him showing us around Morelia, his home city, basically just a super good tour guide. He got us into their private school and showed us around that. Super, super cool. I think it's the oldest school in the Americas. It's up there. It's super old and super cool. But he's on the dream team for next summer. So he won't be here in a couple weeks, but in a year, after he's done a year of service with Noe, he'll be out here in Portland, Lord willing, and amongst us. And so Noe is very interested in furthering our partnership with them. And I would like to do that. And one way that they do that is through host families. And I think we already have maybe 3 families from the trip that are interested in hosting kids from Morelia next summer. And so this is, again, just a way to continue partnership with Noe that is very exciting to me. My wife and I have talked about it a little bit, maybe having a family. But yeah, so this is an opportunity that may come up. If you are interested in that, you can feel free to talk to me. I'll pass names along. But it feels good to the point of communicating that to Noe that we're interested in those things, and they're interested in us. So at the beginning of this, I sort of mentioned it feels kind of like a first date, like we're going to put our best foot forward. They'll put their best foot forward, see if things jive a little bit. And I'd say things are jiving. Things are jiving well. I don't know if we're engaged yet. We're probably not married quite yet. They're not on the mission board, but things are going good. It was a great mission trip. I was heavily encouraged. There was nothing from it that made me take pause of would I do this thing again. There were absolutely things to learn from it and planning to be done differently for next year, but it was just great. And the people there were great, and it was an encouragement. And also very much felt not like we were going and providing this great service to the people of Mexico, but that we were going and being with brothers and sisters in Christ, providing a service to their community, which was just super cool for me. And so I was heavily encouraged by this, and I'm encouraged to go again in the future. So that's all I have. I think this is my last slide. And so I just want to pray real quick. There's no songs or anything after this. I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray for wisdom in future interactions with Noe. But also I just want to encourage all of you, as I said before, find the people on the team. If it's me, that's cool. But if it's the other 10, that's probably cooler. Cole's trying to leave before you can catch him. But find us, talk to us, let us share about our trips, especially the young people. And yeah, I also wanted to say this for the intergenerational ministry part, just how beautiful it is. If you don't have somebody that you regularly interact with who's not in your same age demographic, and I'll say is outside of your family, parents don't count, find someone. This is a strong push to do that. It is good and it is worthwhile, so do it. There's no excuse not to. Every age demographic is represented here, so you can do it. I believe in you. So let me pray, and then we can get about our days. God, I just thank you so much for your church. first and foremost, for your Son who loved us and died for us and who gives us unity around the world and throughout time. And I just pray that we would live more and more into that truth and into that hope. I thank you for the other prayers this morning. I do thank you for the country that you've given us, but we do long for the country that is to come. And I just pray that our affiliation and our love for those members of the church would go up and above the affiliation to those in our country here. That we'd love them also, but that we would truly be connected with your church, with your bride. Help that to become our reality more and more. And I just pray for wisdom in our interactions with Noe. I pray for just relationships to continue in positive directions, that we would be an actual benefit to the ministry there, and that they would continue to benefit us as well, that we would be iron sharpening iron from across a border. All drawing one another closer to you. I pray for the students who will be traveling here soon, that they would just be received well by their host families and by Portland, that they would see your love, and that, we would be just as hospitable to them as they were to us. And I just pray that as we move forward with Noe or with other short-term mission trips, that we would never lose sight of what we do it for, that our desire is to spread the gospel of your kingdom, because we believe that life in you is better than life in the world. Without you, there is no life. So help us to share that life and that love with the people we come in contact with here and abroad and everywhere we go. We love you. Thank you for loving us and for your patience with us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right. Thank you all. Have a good morning.